Steve Ballmer's net worth surpassed $100 billion for the first time on Wednesday, the 7th of July 2021, when Microsoft's stock price reached an all-time high. On that day, his net worth was an incredible $102 billion. Steve Ballmer became the second person to become a billionaire in US dollars as an employee of a company in which he was neither a founder nor co-founder. A lot of his peers earned their money from investing in Bitcoin in 2009 or in Amazon during the dot-com crash. So, how did Steve Ballmer make his wealth working a 9-to-5 job? Before we go on, if you like this video, let us know by pressing the like button, and please consider subscribing for more videos like this. Now, back to Ballmer. He grew up in a wealthy Detroit suburb with his sister Shelley, where their father, a Swiss immigrant, worked as a manager at Ford Motor Company. Ballmer was seen as an overachiever at Detroit Country Day School, where he received a scholarship. He earned a 4.0 grade point average, played on the football and track teams, managed the basketball team, and participated in a variety of school activities. He had a similar experience at Harvard campus, where he studied applied mathematics, was the football team's captain, and worked for the Harvard Crimson newspaper and the University Literary Journal. He also played poker with a classmate, Bill Gates, who had dropped out in their junior year to pursue his dream of becoming a billionaire by starting his own company of making personal computers. Ballmer didn't follow the same path as his classmate and chose the safer option of finishing college. Ballmer worked for Procter & Gamble as a project manager for a year and a half after graduating from Harvard, marketing brownie and muffin mixes. In 1979, he enrolled in Stanford University's Graduate School of Business to get his MBA, and after his first year, he went to Seattle to see his college friend Bill Gates, hoping to get a summer job with Gates' startup Microsoft. Instead, Gates offered him to join the company for a full-time job as the manager of the company's operation. "What the heck is software?" muttered my father, as recounted by Steve. "Why would a person ever need a computer?" my mother asked. On the July 18 episode of The David Rubenstein Show, Ballmer recalled the incident in an interview with Carlyle Group co-founder David Rubenstein. They said, okay, we hear you. But if it doesn't work out, you'll go back to business school, right? And I said, right, and I never came back. So, if he worked as a normal employee in a company, working from 9 to 5, how did he become a billionaire? Steve managed to make himself a vital necessity for the company. This, as a result of Gates having a horrible habit of not delegating and insisting on doing everything by himself, from coding Microsoft software to interviewing prospective candidates. Hiring Ballmer, a trusted college friend, altered that. According to Gates, Ballmer taught him how to hire a lot of people, really outstanding people, and build organizations and teams. Ballmer's first job was as the firm's head recruiter. Despite not being a programmer himself, Ballmer was able to spot technical ability. Microsoft signed a deal to design an operating system for IBM's new line of what would later be dubbed personal computers, not long after Ballmer was hired. Microsoft licensed a program called QDOS from a small Seattle company, rewrote it, and renamed it MS-DOS. Ballmer was a big contributor in the company's discussions with IBM, a pioneer in computing technology for corporations and the government in 1980. Bill Gates and his partner and co-founder Paul Allen oversaw the technological side, while Steve Ballmer oversaw the business side. Soon after joining the team, Ballmer assisted in negotiating and securing a major deal with IBM to allow IBM to run Microsoft software on their systems. When IBM came the first time about their personal computer, I became the kind of salesman on IBM. Why? I knew how to wear a tie, Ballmer said. I was about the only guy around the place, and Bill said, "You have a tie and a suit. Why don't you come to the meeting?" In 1981, Ballmer turned the partnership into a corporation, with Gates owning 53% of the equity, Allen 35%, and Ballmer 8%. He also implemented a stock option plan for Microsoft employees, preventing programmers from leaving until their options were fully vested, resulting in a swarm of Microsoft millionaires. Due to health difficulties, Allen left the company in 1983, putting the Gates and Ballmer team in charge. Ballmer was put in charge of a group of in-house developers working on the .NET framework in February 1922. He was able to lead the .NET project as Executive Vice President of Sales and Support. By 1998, Gates had requested Ballmer to be president of Microsoft, which he accepted because it was another number 2 position, and I was fine with that, according to Ballmer. Steve Ballmer was Microsoft's second-in-command from July 1998 to February 2001, reporting exclusively to then CEO Bill Gates. He was in this position when he began to examine the company's financial operations. He also learned about future technologies that Microsoft would need to compete in. In January 2000, Gates dropped the CEO position, and Ballmer became the CEO of Microsoft. Ballmer's time at Microsoft has not exactly been a resounding success, as evidenced by the company's stock price. Ballmer was not a horrible business person. He simply held the position at the wrong time. Ballmer became the control of Microsoft at the height of the dot-com bubble. Between 2000 and 2002, virtually every stock in the technology industry took a significant hit. Microsoft began to let developers explore a wider range of products under his guidance. Microsoft's legendary early contribution to game consoles, the Xbox, as well as its niche iPod competitor, the Zune, were included. And that was the turning point that made Microsoft hit a financial success under Ballmer's leadership. The company's annual revenue grew from $25 billion to $70 billion, with a 215% increase in net income. Ballmer is known for his lively and joyful demeanor, which helped to excite and motivate employees and partners, despite being so timid as a youngster that he would hyperventilate before Hebrew school. He shouted so much that he needed surgery on his vocal cords. Ballmer's extravagant stage appearances at Microsoft events are extensively shared as viral films on the internet. A spoof video prepared for Microsoft employees in 1986 promoting Windows 1.0 in the style of a Crazy Eddie commercial was one of his initial viral videos. Later, in mock marketing of Windows XP, Ballmer and Brian Valentine repeated this. Also, Ballmer's entry on stage at Microsoft's 25th anniversary event in September 2000, where he leaped across the platform and said, "I love this company," became a widely shared video. Another well-known viral video was one of a sweaty Ballmer shouting the phrase "developers" at a Windows 2000 developers conference. If you think that's a little too crazy for a CEO of a large company, listen to what he said about Apple. "There's no chance that the iPhone is going to get any significant market share. No chance," said Ballmer in 2007. Ballmer slammed Apple's price during a conference in New York City in 2009, saying, "Now I think the tide has turned back the other direction, against Apple. The economy is helpful. Paying an extra $500 for a computer in this environment, same piece of hardware, paying $500 more to get a logo on it, I think that's a more challenging proposition for the average person than it used to be." After he had led Microsoft for nearly 15 years, Ballmer announced his retirement and stepped aside as CEO in 2014. He did, however, keep his 8% interest in the company and the stock options he obtained, which adds a significant sum to his net worth and makes him the company's largest individual shareholder. "When I was CEO, I just didn't think it was right to sell my shares," Ballmer told Rubenstein. "When I left, I still loved the company. I did a little to diversify slightly. I put some money aside for charity, but I'm a loyal dude. I still drive Fords and I still own Microsoft stock. I started as an assistant to the president. I was Bill's assistant, basically. Chief cook and bottle washer," Ballmer said. Ballmer added value to the company. We won't exaggerate if we say that he was the one who made it an actual company. After all, he was the one that took care of the business side, hired developers, took over the commercial and sales. Do you think Microsoft would have succeeded without him? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section.